places like that. I think it's somewhere between 7% of Irish goods go down there. Over 90% goes the other way. So we're talking about putting the border there, where it'll go into Britain, be checked for customs, and when it goes from Calais, or sorry, Dover over to Calais, be checked again, rather than the other area. But there's a dogma there, which will not move away from that. And I cannot understand, when I'm inside in talking in government, is the lack of self-confidence in Ireland. You know, I remember after the Nice and the Lisbon referendum, and in fact I voted no on both, and everybody in government knew I voted no, but that didn't matter. I was asked afterwards, could you think of a few ways where we can dress this up and present it again? And I remember saying, no, I don't want to do that because I don't believe this is in our country's interest. And this, I don't care what you voted. Just think of a few kind of wheezes and we'll frighten the living daylights out of them and we'll run it again. And that was, the Project Fear was in Ireland well before it was in Britain. And I mean, in circumstances like that, it is very, very difficult to maintain loyalty to things. Now, I just want to go on and say, you know, right across Europe, there's a huge disenchantment with the European Union. Everywhere people are voting for it. And it hasn't hit Ireland in the same extent at all, because we're in this dogfight now on Brexit, where the thing has been turned into almost an Irish-British thing. And because of our history, when we're arguing with the Brits, we feel this idea that we have to wear the green jersey and we have to come in on it. But if you look at Germany, you look at Austria, you look at Italy, you look at Slovenia, you look at any of Sweden and these countries, people are falling out of love with the kind of concepts that our government is hanging on by its fingernails to. And you know, why hammer ourselves into a ship that's going down? And the other thing, because I've been involved with the media, this country has a suffocating uniformity when it comes to the EU. Anybody who writes an article critical of the EU will find it very difficult to get it published in the mainstream press. I was lucky and the editor that did it for me is now gone. Not that there's anything difference, but it's very difficult to get it in. You cannot get it. And in fact, an Irish Times interviewer came to me and he did an interview and he says, Ray, a lot of what you're saying is making sense, but you know I can't print this. And I said, why? He said, our paper has an editorial policy. And you know, at the moment, just look at the Irish Independent there, and hell is breaking loose because clearly our government is under huge pressure. When Leo Varadkar starts saying people are going to be disappointed, and when Simon Coveney says, I'm exasperated, those are not signals to the Irish people, they're signals to people in Brussels. There is, I would say, I would lay a very heavy bet that there's huge rows going on behind the scenes because there's a possibility they're going to screw us again. And that's that, and you can see that in the newspapers. You read between the lines, and they are sounding very, very thick. But you know, if a border comes in this country, we can call it Leo's Wall, because he will be responsible for it. So listen, I was just getting daggers from the organisers. But no, it has been, you know, I'm delighted I left and spoke out. I lost a lot of friends, believe it or not. An awful, not so much among the politicians who are used to arguing, but a lot of the people who I worked for many years have taken this very badly. I've been attacked, I've been called a betrayer and everything like that, because once you step out from the inner circle and talk about it, you have in many ways lifted a lid and you will not be forgiven on that. And, you know, in the end, it shows you where people's loyalty is. Never underestimate careerism in the public service or in politicians. In tomorrow, if Leo announced that he was become a Eurosceptic, it's amazing how many of his party would suddenly discover that they were all anti-European. It's horrific being in there. So I'd say I just want to wish the party the very best. I'm delighted, as I say, that I've moved out, because now I can say what I really think as opposed to what I'm paid for. And when you see ministers or you see ambassadors talking, remember, even if they agreed with me, they couldn't say it because they'd be sacked. So it's no good when they say, my personal view is, I'm sorry son, your personal view isn't important, you're there to parrot the government line. Thank you very much.